Welcome back to the Beacon World League, where the action continues and honestly just gets even spicier because we are now one round deeper in competition. We have one more round of points under everyone's belt, and what a round it was across the board in Division 2. Coming into this match, we do have Acrose, Limpan, Javzo and Broly. We will be seeing Limpan again looking to recover from maybe a slightly shocking third place in the last match. But Acrose, Melio, is coming off of the back of not only beating Evon in the previous round and moving himself up in second place, but also picking up 3 match records in that match as well. So looking incredibly good coming in.
Yeah, probably train a lot, and now he get confident from beating Evon. So I think he's got the confidence. It will be a good match for him now.
Yeah, I mean, it really, one more big match, one more win and a couple of match records with only one round remaining, then I think you can start to dream, Twiggy, at that point. Start to feel like maybe my top 2 and my promotion to Division 1 for Beacon World League Season 2 is starting to feel safe.
Yeah, and at the very least, here's the thing. The target is now get promoted. It's not come first. Let's be honest here. Tween has won every single match. Look at the amount of match records he has. It's over. It's over. That's first place pretty much locked in. Let's be completely honest. 5 points difference with 2 matches to go. Yeah, I mean, Acrose is looking pretty good there. Evon very close, but I think, yeah, for Acrose it really is just going to be let's pedal to the metal, try and get as many match records as possible, stay in the top 2.
Yeah, and looking down the board a little bit there, Melio, to Javzo. Every other player in this match has managed to win one of their matches up until this point in previous rounds. Javzo, the only player having picked up, I believe that was 3 third places. Looking to improve a little bit here. It does kind of mean, I think, equally that anything above 3rd place, even anything above 4th place, probably a pretty big scalp for Javzo in this match.
It would be hard for him because they are all in the top 6, so it's like a big gap between them. So he just have to do what Jaka do always.
Honestly, everyone should just aspire to do what Jaka did in that match.
Why doesn't everybody just not lose? I mean, it's
yeah, makes perfect sense. And we'll see the pick ban order here. Maybe a little bit surprising that Acrose is coming in 3rd in the pick ban order, Melio, as well, because Broly with a very solid combined PB of a 547.750.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that because Broly is always a time attack player. He's good in round, of course, but he's more like a time attack player. So I'm not surprised about what I see from him.
Yeah, Twiggy, if you had a dream for something to happen during this pick ban, is there anything you'd like to see shaken up? Because again, we've seen a lot of Perseverance and Galafu bans. We've seen Ruby and Meltdown early in the rotation a lot. Would you like to see anything swapped up from these players?
I'd like to see a bit more Perseverance. I do miss it a little bit. But I mean, apart from that, look, the players seem comfortable with whatever they're doing, and all of the players seem to like the same pool of maps. I don't think there's anything that's going to surprise anyone. I don't think there's anything that's going to go, oh my god, we're going to lose every match now because somebody picked Perseverance or banned Ruby. I don't think we're kind of in that level of Trackmania. So yeah, no, I don't think there's anything particularly I'm dreaming of seeing, but it would be cool to see more Perseverance.
Perseverance doesn't even have a bobsleigh loop, so I don't understand why they keep banning it, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
God. Oh, God,
all right,
PTSD.
I'm going to... We nearly saw that track eventually. Yeah, we're going to head on into the pick and bans for the match and, see where things go. As we said, Broly does have that ban, a solid time attack time. I mean, he is well clear of anyone else and has banned Meltdown. Twiggy, that's a shake-up.
That's a little bit of a shake-up. Okay, that's a good one. I think, that's kind of out of left field. It's not one of the ones that you think, oh, this is going to be banned. Yeah, so, hey.
He's a tech player, so he will ban Ice for sure.
Yeah, great. Well, delighted to see because it does mean things are a little bit different. Miata and Galafu, the first 2 maps, we will see Perseverance. We might only see it once. We'll get it 3rd pick. There's a chance we get back there. And Ruby in 4th. I mean... almost a reversal of how things went in our last pick ban there, Melio. Very, very different look for our second match order.
Completely different because Ruby is last and it was 1st, so now it will probably finish in Miata. Pretty good match. I want to see what happened in this one.
Yeah. I'm going to ask, we didn't quite manage to get a prediction in because we were having too much fun talking about maps that we never got to see in World Tour. what is the prediction from both of you on this one? I'll come to you first, Melio, and ask, who are you seeing going all the way?
Probably Acrose, because he just beat even, he gets confidence now. Limpan and Broly for second place, I don't know. I will put Broly because he's the fastest. And Limpan don't have confidence now, and Javzo because he's 4 because he's a gap.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. Broly seems confident with the ban that they made. Limpan looked slightly lackluster from what we expect from that kind of placement. Acrose obviously is right up at the top, so same kind of placement for me.
Yeah, it seems fair. It seems like the safe bet, but if there's one thing we've learned in Beacon World League, the safe bet does not always pay out. To take you through the action, to figure out how things go in this match, we're going to throw on over to Boney and to Babs for our second Div 2 match of the day.
Do you want to say it? Should I say it, Babs? I could be the first to say it if you want to.
I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, I think this is the time for us to... No, there's nothing to unveil. Welcome to match number 2 of Div number 2 of week number 2. There's a lot of 2s on the board, and I'm joined here with Babs. So 2 casters at the same time as well. A lot of 2s. Good things come in 2, right? I think that's a saying. Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah, and good things come with us, I'd say. Babs and Boney just rings kind of well, doesn't it?
There you go. Yeah.
I've been sitting on the sidelines since the start of this broadcast, watching all the matches, just itching to be able to get stuck in, and what some incredible matches that we've just seen in every single one. And another one awaits us now, so yeah, dying to get into it.
Definitely. I mean, lineup with Acrose, Limpan, Javzo, and Broly. All players with something to play for right now. Whether it's Acrose at the moment in second place after a phenomenal third match for him. And at the same time, Javzo, as mentioned, three third place matches 3 times in a row. Again, I suppose the numbers just line up quite nicely today. But all to play for, and with just 2 matches in general remaining, this last match for today for Div 2 is going to be very much a decider for where these players will set their targets for their final match coming up next week. But for now, Miyata is going to be the place to kick things off here, and it's all to play for between Acrose, Limpan, Javzo, and Broly.
Yeah, like you were saying, this is going to set expectations for every player. Maybe Javzo not in the same fight as the 3 players in front of him. Acrose definitely the favorite maybe at the moment to take that second qualification spot into Div 1, but these players are not going to give up without a fight. And Limpan is going to have to... Yeah, Limpan is going to have to fight from the back in this first round on Miyata. And I feel like there is no time to warm up in this. They were saying it on the desk. Acrose is going to have confidence. Seems like Broly is lacking a bit of confidence. He's clipped the wall quite early on. And Acrose's only enemy at the moment is Javzo, who also clips himself, which means that he's out by himself going into the second half of the map.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tale of mistakes for our first time round Miyata. And Acrose, seemingly alive, Javzo, Broly, Limpan. I think the only close fight, if you look at our score line, timeline, is Javzo and Broly. But even then, Acrose is in a league of his own, looking to set up a great match record to set a nice bar, get a point secured for himself, and perhaps keep it in until that lineup for the risky fin just doesn't go his way. Still has the lead, but it's not going to be as strong of a time as could have been, as he does nail a 111.3. That could have been a 0.1 probably. Honestly, I think he was very much on pace to set a division record. If you consider his mistake, the way his line went there, I think he easily lost 2/10 there.
Oh yeah, he definitely lost probably more than that, because making a mistake at that point in the map is going to affect you for the rest of it, as it's very difficult to regain that gear. But maybe some of the nerves being shown here from the players, they know how important this match is for them and for the hopes of getting top 2 in this league, which so many of them are hoping they can do. Maybe round 2 will be a little bit cleaner. Maybe round 1 was just our warm-up for everyone. As we get into it now, it's a lot closer between all 4 players. Really nothing to separate them at the moment. A very good start from all 4. This dirt uphill, we've seen clips before. Nobody clips this time. Javzo is a little bit wide on the exit. Nearly clips the snow. Acrose himself taking that wide exit. There's 2 clips on that little left-right chicane, and it's Broly and Limpan who fall behind our 2 leaders.
it's a very, very dangerous chicane, as you say. Every single time, that's the point where I very much keep my eyes peeled, keeping them open to see if anyone does make a mistake right there. There's not a lot of movement required to get past it, but at the speed that these players are going, just coming out of that left-hander as well, it's very tough. But Javzo and Acrose fighting for first place. Javzo perhaps surprising even himself, but Acrose nailing down a 110.4 for the match record. Could have probably, again, probably wouldn't have been if not for the first round, but very, very awesome to see for me personally as a Dutch person myself to see Javzo do a phenomenal job. Just losing 8 points so far when he is the one being a bit of an underdog in this match right here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good start for Javzo. It might be just a mental thing, but seeing two players who are in the 80s and you're still up there in the 90s and, trying to stay in touch with Acrose, it can give you a little bit of a boost of confidence going into the next rounds. But for the moment, Acrose looks like he might be losing his first points in this match. He's had 2 -0s up until now, still on 100 points. But a clip from Javzo might save him this time around. It might be the first -10 for the Dutch player, unfortunately, after singing his praise, and a bit of a gap between all of our players actually in this one.
Yeah, there may be some room when it comes to that risky fin. That is usually the point where things can go a bit awry, just because of I want to, after this turn right here, you've got this uphill and the players are trying to maintain wheels on the ground as much as possible, going as wide, and in all of this, it is all just making sure and figuring out, can I set up for that final jump? Acrose, in the meantime, has been getting closer and closer to Limpan, but is unable to maintain that positive gain. But Broly, the one to take over match record right there. He just needs one round in first place, and he does so indeed. 110.2, solid time driven by him. That's a point going his way. We still have one more round remaining here on Miata. I most likely will be coming back to it, so nothing guaranteed just yet, but it feels good to know that, hey, at the end of the day, I may be able to pick up a point out of this, even if everything else out after this goes bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Melio mentions that Broly does favor the sort of tech-heavy maps, Miata being exactly that. Could be what favors him in this match, and just as I say that, he clips at the beginning. It's not going to be what he wants to see in this round. After a difficult match in the previous one, he only got a 3rd place, harming his hopes of getting into Division 2 next time around. But he's going to have to pick it up in this match for the moment. It's Javzo who clips behind our 2 leaders. Limpan is currently leading ahead of Acrose in that beautiful new split skin. He's going to be hoping that he can take it home in first in this round. But Acrose, we've seen him have some good second halves of these maps and catch up a good few tenths on the players ahead of him. He's going to be trying to do the same sort of thing this time around. Keeps good speed over the dirt, going into this little bit of a release drift. You have to take it tight on the exit. Acrose does so, but Limpan is still maintaining that lead very confidently. Both of them keep the gear. It's going to be a really good round from both players. What time is it going to be? It's a new division record from Limpan. The Swede takes it with a 110.152. Incredible driving.
I mean, look at that. I mean, in Circuit Mania, making sure we stay on top of, knowing that we just got a division record on the table right there. I'm sure all the other players in their matches, once they either are on Miata or move to Miata, like, hey, whoa, we got a new record on the board. Well, that's always, good to know that the pace is being driven higher and higher right here in Division 2. But a great end result right there for Limpan right there, who was able to, while in 4th place, overall in the leaderboard, was able to pick up a 0-pointer for himself. Anytime you can drive a first place round is always a good time. And especially because of this, we have quite a nice spread board. It is still Acrose who does have that lead with 89 points. But regardless, everybody seemingly is coming to play. No one is really looking like they're, just fish out of the water right here. And looking quite prepared.
Yeah, quite a mixed bag in that first map, actually. Everybody having ups and downs. You could say Acrose had some good rounds, but also had some clips, had to fight back from behind. Broly, obviously, with a really good time. Limpan as well, but equally had some bad rounds. Javzo staying in contention for the moment, and we're going to be heading in to Galifeu, which is our next map. Another sort of tech-heavy one, and Broly, if he does want to gain or lose less points, I guess, compared to his opponents, he's going to have to show up in these rounds. Obviously, easier said than done when you're playing against the caliber of player that we have in this match. But this one could be important for the rest of our match.
Definitely. We've seen this second map usually cause a bit of a rift. Either it's our first place player really picking up a nice gap on the rest of everyone else, but at the same time, it could be the equalizer that any of the lower end players could be looking for. This time around, Limpan, the one to take off first place on this track, as Javzo does make error on the first half already. I mean, this is very, very painful. Galifo is not the type of map that really has these specific sections that you can assume a mistake happens. It's more a flow of sorts, right? Because of the amount of dirt and whatnot, you will see these players most of the time, if they do falter, it's because they decided to go a bit too wide on an uphill or something along those lines. So because of that, we do find ourselves in a bit of a conga line situation with Limpan, Broly, and Acrose just behind each other, and no one really taking over until that turn right there with Broly and Acrose actually overtaking Limpan, and now Limpan left to fight for first place.
Yeah, he's currently about 2 cars length behind our leader Broly going into the end. This hourglass is going to decide it. It seems like Broly had more speed, is going to finish in first and take a -0 on our first round in Galifeu. But he was closely followed by Acrose and Limpan. It seemed like Limpan had a good grip on this round, but as you said, something in that dirt uphill seemed to go a little bit awry. And for Javzo as well in fourth. The panelists sort of mentioned that, you know, he needs to do something similar to what Jacket did, which obviously isn't the easiest thing to do in the world when you're playing against these high-level players. But he's going to have to try and keep it a bit more consistent than he has thus far. Even if he's not driving the same sort of pace as our 3 other players, driving those consistent rounds is going to mean that he would capitalize on any mistakes that come his way. But for the moment, we have a very clean round from our first 4 players. No mistakes in the beginning as we enter this outside dirt. Very important to carry the speed and get a tight exit and entry into that dirt. Very close so far, only about a 10th between all players. They're switching positions between every turn, between every checkpoint. This tech section with 2 drifts back to back, quite important. Broly and Limpan favouring that inside line, but it means that they come out with less speed. Javzo actually clips just before that uphill dirt, which means that he's going to find himself in that 4th position again. And it's Acrose who leads the line as we go into the end.
Yeah, just a couple turns remaining in Limpan right there, trying to set up for a great exit speed into the final turn, but no such luck. Falls behind even further, so it will be Acrose in first place, setting a great match record with a 107.9. Seemingly, you know, a time that definitely can stand, but at the same time, you know, nothing safe just yet. Usually, what we've seen so far on this track, 108.0. is pretty much the average, if you will. So I think a 107.9 is going to be a hard one to beat for the rest of the players, and with that, Acrose picking up a potential map point as well. In terms of points as well, Javzo on 52. That last round, very, very close, was looking like he was finally, you know, getting into his full potential, but unfortunately, it's that consistency once again biting him in the butt.
Exactly, as we've seen 2 clips actually from Broly and Javzo in that uphill dirt. Unfortunately, Javzo is the one who came off worse. He's back down in 4th again. Another clip that's not going to help him. The 3 leaders are running away from him very much so in this round. Broly finds himself about 4/10 off our leaders. Across again has a good grip on this round. Went a bit wide on that drift, had to adjust a little bit. Limpan manages to catch up, but both are on a very good round for the moment. This uphill dirt, very important. Broly loses a gear. It seemed like Acrose did as well, and Limpan did as well, which means that Broly comes out essentially with more speed as we head into the end, but it's still neck and neck with the Welshman. The last drift is going to be very important. Broly takes it quite wide. It looks so close to clipping, but it looks like he's going to take this round actually. Quite a slow one compared to what we've seen so far, but Broly won't mind one bit.
No, definitely not. And with that as well, Acrose, who was perhaps looking to extend his lead even more, is going to have to settle for a second place. But yeah, very, very interesting that every player there manages to make the same mistake, just a bit more costly for some than others. And if talking about costly mistakes, Javzo is just unable to get into the flow of things in Galifo. Making a mistake so fast is definitely just a death sentence. Where we saw in the previous match with XY, faltering a bit on Ruby, he was in a very different situation where he was already having that buffer built up. Javzo does not have that luxury, that comfort, and instead is probably going to have to look to find his shining beacon of hope in Perseverance. First time around, we'll be seeing Perseverance on stream as well. So for now, Acrose and Broly duking it out for first place. It's actually Acrose the one being the worst of the three, getting that uphill, and it's Broly and Limpan for first and second, as Broly wants to get a two-peat in terms of our first place. And this time, this is a lot faster. At a 108.1, though, we'll keep Acrose in match records, but Broly picking up first place there.
Yeah, a really strong performance from Acrose on Galifeu. Once again, his map pick, and he does take the map record, as you said, so that extra point from it, as we saw Limpan do on Mayada, which was also his pick. So for the moment, pick and ban sort of soothing the players from the decisions they made. But Acrose, he had a lot of good rounds, sort of a lot of good first half of rounds, and then something might have gone wrong, and he left the door open for Broly and Limpan to come and sweep up some points. So, good performance, but it could have been even better for him. As just looking at the standings and the other matches going on at the moment, it looks like there's a strong performance for Ixaway, who is our current fourth place overall. And Acrose is going to have to be careful and watch his back about anybody trying to snag that second place overall off of him.
Yeah, and I mean, Broly is at the moment the one in position to perhaps do so. 74 points for Acrose and 72 for Broly. Broly was just really taking advantage of Galifo, and it's really been that last sector that has been the place where he's been able to get his money's worth, getting these first places 2 times in a row as well. Making Acrose a bit more worried about perhaps what could happen. And hey, look at this video. We have not seen Perseverance on screen just yet, but we finally get to see the trailer happening right here. There's been a slight little change on the last drift as well, just to increase visibility. Other than that, the track is pretty much the same thing, and perhaps this is what convinced Javzo to say, hey, you know what, I'm playing Perseverance. Though I haven't seen his picks in the previous matches, so who knows, maybe this is just a map he likes to play. Either way, he really needs to this map to pay off for him.
Yeah, as we look at the beacon logo under the water, Javzo is going to be looking to keep his head above water, because this match could run away from him very, very quickly. That being said, he does have the second fastest time out of any player currently on Perseverance, only 0.1 off of Broly, who has a really, really good time on this map, and he's going to hope that it pays off for him again, like it did on Galifeu, as he's going to have to try and catch up to Acrose. He's only 2 points off of him, and finishing head of Acrose in this match could be extremely important, but I think he's going to need more than that. He's going to need these map record points, and he's going to need to snag them away from Acrose, as we see an early mistake from Javzo again. He's really not in this match, and it's not looking good for him for the moment. It's looking like he's heading towards a 4th place in this one.
Yeah, so once again, we have the usual suspects in first, second, and third. In this case, it is Limpan, Acrose, and Broly duking their way across Perseverance. Very interesting, for me at least, to see these players finally, see this map in action in general. But everybody is just making their way across these turns quite nicely until you blink and you miss it, and Acrose does unfortunately make contact with one of the walls. Those tend to lose speed. It's not plastic, so unfortunately drop it into 4th place. Javzo taking advantage of that, and Broly and Limpan setting up for the risky fin, making their way up and down, and Broly barely makes it across, in fact, as Javzo does have to go for it once again. So at the end of the day, still a 4th place for Javzo, but Broly there picking up another 1st place, sending Acrose even further down into the leaderboard and no longer in 1st place overall.
Yeah, and Broly with that as well picks up a really, really good time. And 111.6 is only 2/10 off the current division record, which is held by Evon. And like I said, those map record points are going to be extra important. So he's going to hope that that one sticks. Either it sticks or he manages to improve it himself. But none of these other players can take it off him again. There's a mistake from Javzo, and it's followed by Broly. So it leaves only Limpan in the lead after Acrose got a slow start. And I think Broly's going to have to hope for a mistake from Acrose ahead if he wants to keep his lead in this match. But the Welshman looks comfortable. It's Limpan who has to double respawn, which is an almost guaranteed 4th place for him in this round. Javzo is really, really, really struggling. The Dutchman is not finding his feet in this match. The pressure may be getting to him a little bit, which means that it's open season for Acrose out in front. This should be an easy win for him if he recognises the gap that he has to 2nd place, which is almost a second now back to Broly the Frenchman, who probably himself will be looking behind him as well and thinking, you know what, I can safe and get a 2nd spot. That is fine after the round that I've had. Mistakes all over the place, despite a good round from Acrose. He has to release a little bit, but he still makes the finish. Broly comes home in 2nd. Who is going to get 3rd? Limpan actually caught up on Javzo and is going to claim that 3rd spot again. Javzo has to respawn the end. He's really not comfortable on his map pick.
No, again, this is actively picking from the 2 maps that are remaining, Perseverance and Ruby. Perhaps this was a situation of, taking the lesser of 2 evils, because right now it is just not going his way. Perhaps, because I cannot imagine that he went into this like, oh, I can't drive this track, let me pick it, right? That would be silly. And it may be just more of a situation where mentally he's like, man, this is just not going my way, and spiraling into this self-perpetuating loop of things are not going well, so it probably won't go well, or something along those lines. It's very easy to get flustered when round after round things are just not going the way you've practiced. Fortunately, though, this round he's looking a lot more competitive than he did in the previous one. Still, though, everyone else is staying alive. Far less of a bloodbath that we had in our previous round. As everybody's doing a phenomenal job right now, making their way across Perseverance.
Yeah, and like we saw in Galifeu, that 3rd section was ever so important, and this one is as well on Perseverance. Getting a good line is so important, but Broly's line was straight into the wall, which is, I don't have to tell you, not the thing you want to be doing if you want to have a good time on this. Acrose and Limpan currently fighting for that 1st spot. Javzo had a good start in this round. Got caught up by the 2 players, and that looks like a clip. It unfortunately is. Again, not a clean round for the Dutchman, but it's very close between the Swede and the Welshman going into the end. Who has the better drift? Limpan is more inside, but Acrose has more speed. Limpan doesn't make it, which means that he has to respawn. Acrose finishes 1st. Broly, after a poor round, gets 2nd, and Javzo again is denied a 3rd spot.
It just keeps happening, right? It's like he's getting beaten down, and like every single time it seems like he can get up. Nope, sorry. Just too late. Just a little bit too little, too late. That situation there. I mean, he probably already was. Another round, another 4th place. But a glimmer of hope shines through with a mistake from the other player. But again, too little, too late. 2 points remain for Javzo. There is just no more room for error. I mean, it's going to be last chance city for him with Limpan on 36 points. Acrose and Broly still in the 60s. This match seemingly flying by if you're a Javzo fan, just not having a good time. I mean, my nationalistic pride definitely is is being hurt. So I'm very much rooting for him to do well, as this round is looking a lot cleaner. Broly the one with the mistake, and Acrose though looking to get past Javzo and send him into last chance mode.
Yeah, and it has happened in every other round where he has been passed by his opponents in the sort of 3rd part of this map, and again it's happening again after a poor dirt section. Takes an inside drift there, but Limpan and Acrose remain ahead. Javzo does have very good speed, risks the exit that drift quite a bit, and we have seen mistakes on this end before, so nothing is set in stone. Acrose though gets it well. Limpan a little bit low, but makes it, and that's a new match record for Acrose, so steals that point off of Broly, and I wonder what that's going to mean for the Frenchman.
Yeah, I mean, minus 10 as well, putting himself into 54 points. So it's still a tight fight for 1st place. Acrose currently does have to lead with 67. But yeah, Broly is staying nice close, and it's that round. I suppose in his case, it's very much a situation of, oh, you know, I made a mistake early on, and now it's causing this bit of a gap, but that gap could easily be recovered if Broly keeps driving the way that he's been driving. Limpan, while he has been part of these drop tree fights that we've seen quite a bit, he's been unable to really cash in on them. Stuck on 32 points, not good, not bad, but it feels like it could have been better, right? It feels like there could have been a tiny bit more, and obviously Javzo being the one dead last at the moment, just unable to get his footing. Every single time it seems like he's got a good run going, it just doesn't go well.
Yeah. Considering how we've seen other matches go already today, I wouldn't be surprised if Acrose, despite having a good start to this match, might be dragged down into a bit of a dogfight. And that's probably what Limpan and Broly are going to be hoping for. They're currently sitting, 5th and 6th, or 6 and 7 points behind Acrose, who is in 2nd. So, they would like him to not get 1st, not get 2nd, but maybe even get 3rd. So they're both going to have a good performance if they want to make that happen. And luckily for Broly, we're going on to Ruby, where he currently holds the world record.
I mean, if there is, a bit of upper hand that you're looking for heading into map number 4, I think that is something to very much lean into. Knowing you're the fastest out of all the players in general, I think that's a good time. Now, division record being the 110.9 from Broly as well, being the live record, does say something about, okay, this is the ultimate pace, but when it comes to driving in rounds, it's a bit slower, it's a bit lower, right? You're not going to be driving in the exact same way, especially considering the situation you may or may not be in, as long as you have that space built up. For now, though, clean start from all the players. Javzo, the one in last chance, is in 4th place. Will he be able to make it past map number 4? Will be the first one to fall here in this 4-way fight. Javzo is starting to fall behind a bit more and more. It's 4/10s already. He's gonna have to hope for a mistake at this point. There's just not enough space to really catch up now.
Yeah, and if it doesn't happen ahead, this could be one of the earliest eliminations we've seen in the tournament so far. Remember, we're only on round 1 of map 4, so Javzo would just about have seen the whole map cycle, but I don't think he'll be happy with the performance he's put up in this match. Then again, Broly seems to have clipped just ahead. He has low speed, but seems to have recovered quite well in the water, and Javzo's fate is sealed. He is going to go out 4th in this match. Just a really difficult day for him all around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's very much a dichotomy of things where Javzo just unfortunately first time into last chance, unable to cash it in. But on the other side of things, it's Limpan who drives an amazing round, drives a 110.8, easily taking the division record, which was set at a 0.9. Very much a depending on which side you were cheering for, you're either very happy or very sad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a brilliant time from Limpan to kick it off on Ruby. As Broly, who we were singing the praises of and saying that he might have a good performance on this map, has made a mistake in this 2nd round. So Limpan is followed closely by our current leader in this match, Acrose, and he's going to want to stay ahead of him because, as I said, he'll want to finish ahead of Acrose in this match. Match records or getting 2nd isn't going to be enough if he wants to have aspirations of getting that 2nd position overall. Acrose takes that wide line into the plastic, means that he's going to get a bit more exit speed, but Limpan manages line just as well as we go up into this dirt. Seems to have a better inside line, gains more speed onto that black platform. This tight grass section, you lose all of that speed, and then you get really tight to that border there. Acrose gets a little bit too tight, but Limpan seems to have clipped himself as well, which means that Acrose can catch back up, and it looks like he's going to take 1st in this round ahead of Limpan, and Broly comes home 2nd behind in 3rd.
Not the fastest time we've seen, but it's very much a waiting until somebody falters, and in this case, Limpan, unfortunately, right at the end, heading into that sausage block. That's usually where things can go wrong. Unfortunately for him, that is exactly what happened. Still, though, I mean, just looking at the scores in general, right? Limpan wanting to get these first places. Points will be lost regardless of which position you end in. at this point, as we only have 3 players remaining. Still, though, 26 points versus 41 and 58. That's not very nice. What is interesting, though, is that despite Broly being the one that's been mainly fighting Acrose for first place overall in the match, he hasn't gotten, or at least been able to secure, a match record this entire match. It's Acrose for 2 and Limpan for 2. And I mean, Limpan driving a 110.8 on this one is very solid, and this round in general is also a very, very tight fought one, as Broly does have to lead, but Acrose could most likely take over if he just takes the line a tiny bit tighter, a tiny bit wider. All to play for between these 2 players, but Broly very much looking to be the one to knock Acrose down a peg.
Yeah, Limpan, when he looks ahead, it looks like there's only one car on the horizon, but don't be fooled, there is Acrose and Broly both up there. Again, Acrose seems to have the better water line from all the players, but Broly has really good speed as we go into the end. Who's going to take it? It's 9,000ths of a difference. Acrose takes it with a 111.0. A really solid rounds time, but followed closely by Broly.
Very, very, very close fight there, but at the end of that exchange, it is Acrose who comes out victorious. 56 points to his name. Yeah, I mean, it's 20 points between everyone, right? That's what it comes down to. Up at about 20 points, give or take 1 or 2. Just goes to show that despite the way these 3 players have been duking it out over and over and over during this match, it is still Acrose who comes out on top. And with Broly right there, finding himself being a little bit of a pinball, activity of sorts, hitting that plastic little lump heading out, it is Limpan and Acrose who will fight head-to-head for a first place, and Limpan is very much looking to deal some more damage to Acrose because he cannot suffer to lose any more points than the 2 that he could when he gets first place.
Yeah, as you said, Acrose is still in that first position, but it hasn't been easy. Some rounds have been going all over the place. Some maps have been better for him than others, but in general, there has been a trend that he has been getting more first places than the other 2 players. And Limpan and Broly are going to have to try and break that trend, and that's exactly what Limpan is doing. He's had a brilliant round. I'm wondering what his time is going to be, as he's surely going to take first place in this one. That's going to be a 110.9, a very solid time ahead of Acrose. He needs more of those if he wants to stay in contention in this match.
Yeah, and I think that also, and I don't have the times fully in front. Let me actually double check. I want to say that Limpan has been the only one being able to drive 110s right there. It's unfortunate for him that Ruby isn't the map that we're going back to right now, because if that were to be the case, he would be in a much, much better position. Instead, we will be making our way back to Miata, and while he does have the record right there at the moment as well, it is still a bit of a dangerous situation, knowing that he has 15 points remaining. Any mistake right there could already spiral him into last chance mode, where he just has to hope that, well, I suppose Broly being the one he's looking at currently to falter along that. Regardless, though, it is still a very much a 3-way fight when it comes to the races themselves. Acrose, though, 50 points at the end of 4 maps. He's in a very good spot.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he's going to need another sort of a good end to this match if he wants to stay in contention. We've seen players already today and last week sort of become, superhuman once they enter last chance and just do not want to go out. They become stubborn, and I wouldn't put it past Broly and Limpan to do that on Miata and Galifei, our next map, as they've looked both like they can drive the times that they need to beat Acrose. As you said, Limpan currently holding the division record, not only the match record, but the division record on Miata. It's going to want to continue that form as we come back around. As we just orient ourselves back in the right direction.
There you go.
A
little crack of the neck. And we have found the level playing field, huh? I know, it's horrible, I know.
Broly.
Oh. But a bit of an early mistake, I will say as well. The way things are going and moving, it's very, very likely that we'll see Limpan and Broly going into last chance, respectfully, in that order. But when it comes to, on the Acrose's side, it is very much I suppose, a different situation. It doesn't matter what the points are, but it's more about, do I have the composure to knock him out? because all he needs to do at that point is drive first place, which he is perfectly capable of doing. But it's a totally different situation when you know, like, my actions right now could just knock someone out.
Yeah,
Am I
absolutely.
able to keep that in, keep that focus long enough to make that happen? For now, though, cruising somewhat relatively fine in second place. Broly does have first place, as Limpan is going to suffer a -9 for his troubles if the positions stay the way that they are right now.
Yeah, and as you said, he's going to need that composure, Acrose, to knock out these players. And if he doesn't do that, you know, crazier things have happened. And Broly and Limpan definitely capable of dragging themselves back into contention for that first place. It's only going to be a -6 for Acrose. You know, first and second places will probably do the job. But he's going to be wanting to get them consistently. And Limpan and Broly, as I said, this match is ever so important. This is the second last match that these players are going to be playing for the whole season. There's only one more left after this, one more left to get some league points on the board if you want to get that second spot and behind Tween and get promoted into Division 1, where a lot of these players are gonna feel like they deserve to be in Division 1, that they have the talent to be there, but you need to show it out on track. And currently at the moment, Acrose is the player who's doing that to the best of his ability, but in this round it is Limpan and Broly who are off to a really good start. The Swedish and French alliance trying to take some points off of Acrose. You mentioned that section, Boney, and this time it claims Limpan as he clips on the outside. He hasn't lost too much ground, but it is a lot when you consider the level of players that are ahead of him. Acrose has an amazing outside there, carries a lot of speed. Broly gets a little bit of airtime, going to make this transition a little bit difficult, and it looks like this round is Acrose's one to take.
Yeah, there's not a lot left for Broly to overtake Acrose right here, who seemingly is in a league of his own for this round in particular. Barely, keeping it onto the next platform right there. Every single time I see these players approach that as well, I feel like, are they going to overshoot it? Like, is it going to happen? Because they are going at it really fast, but no casualties happening in that regard. So Acrose picking up another first place, sending Limpan into last chance, and Broly on 18. So Limpan is going to have to pull a bit of a Jaka right here if he wants to, get Broly down into the mud and push himself from a potential last chance third place into second. And I mean, who knows? Maybe even first. Though I think Broly and Acrose both have something to say about that situation. As right now they are the ones in position to knock Limpan out of the match. Doing a phenomenal job going past the dirt here as well. Nobody going too wide there as well, interestingly enough, so no risk taken. But this section is usually where things can go poorly. Ooh. And it is Acrose who makes a mistake, but Limpan made an even bigger mistake. I think that's lights out.
Yeah, it might be. This round where you go into last chance tells us so much about how the match is going to go on. If you go out straight away, if you look shaky, it's probably because you're feeling the nerves, and it looked like Limpan was there. Acrose had left the gate open for him to stay in this match, but unfortunately he could not capitalize. It's another mistake straight after, and it looks like Limpan is going to leave us at this point in third position, which is not going to be the result he was hoping for. Broly, on the other hand, gets first place with a 1:10.5, a solid time, but he kept it clean ahead of Acrose and Limpan, and now he's going to find himself in a very important 1v1 with the Welshman.
And despite Limpan here taking third place, he does still have the 2 match records. So that's still 2 more points going his way. And I suppose Broly is just, if he ends up in second place, he pretty much ties Limpan in terms of points, despite being in second place, being the one who could possibly put Acrose in a even more awkward situation if he holds on to this first place that he has right now. It's interesting to see that despite driving as cleanly as he has been unable to be the fastest on any of these maps. As you can see, Miata and Ruby being the one for Limpan, whereas Acrose has it on Galifo and Perseverance, powered by E-Circuit Mania. Always great to see these times come in. Usually I find myself struggling when it comes to finding times, but this makes it oh so easy to know what the current situation is across pretty much the entire competition. When it comes to this match in particular, I mean, Broly has just been getting further and further away from Acrose. It's going to take a mistake on Acrose's side to allow himself to get past Broly, who does have 16 points, and this will be a big blow to the lead that Acrose has built up.
Yeah, a win here for Broly as he's just made a little bit of a mistake there. Is that going to let Acrose back into this match, into this round? Sorry, I don't think it is. Just a little bit too late for him. That was a 1-11-1 from Broly despite that mistake. And as you said, it looks like he's on an upward trend at the moment. You know, he had some really good rounds there on Miata. And that last round is going to be a big blow to Acrose. It's really going to drag him into that fight where suddenly he doesn't really have that comfortable advantage that he once had. So Broly, looking ahead to this now, is going to want to knock him out if he can. But unfortunately, maybe what's played into Acrose's hands is the fact that Limpan was the one who held 2 of those match records, and he's gone out in 3rd, which means that, you know, Acrose is nevertheless going to hold some of that advantage unless Broly picks up some match records as we go into Galifeu.
Yeah, that's the only thing really that could hit Acrose. I mean, 10 points seemingly being the max that is possible at this point in time, as all the other maps are simply not being played anymore, right? So that does mean that despite Limpan coming into 3rd place, we'll be walking away with 6 points, which is a fine result, if I do say so myself, knowing that you're able to pick up 2 fastest times. I think that's despite going out, a solid performance, and I think we'll be pretty happy with this result heading into next week, as this is the end of his play day. But we still have Broly and Acrose, who will have to finish out their match, and we'll see which one of the 2 will be able to make it happen. Will it be Acrose who will grow his lead even further, and perhaps secure himself a spot heading into div number 1 in the overall leaderboard, or will Broly be the one to make things a tiny bit more, riskier heading into next week?
Yeah, absolutely. And an interesting fight that's going on in another match as well is Evon and Ixaway, who are currently tied in a battle themselves, and they are our 3rd and 4th positions overall. So Acrose, he probably won't know about that now, but this fight against Broly is going to be ever so important for him to stay ahead of those 2 players in the overall standings, and he's off to a great start on Galifeu at the moment. That is a 2.5-10 advantage on Broly after the first half of the map. He does take a wide entry into that dirt, which allows Broly to catch up just a slight bit, and Broly is going to look to make these 2 drifts count as much as he can. He taps the brake as little as possible, keeping as much speed as he can. He's catching up to Acrose, but a bad entry into this dirt uphill is going to cost him a lot of time. Acrose now sending himself off into the distance. It looks like this round is his to take, and this would be very costly for Broly, who might be heading into last chance.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room remaining for Broly to take over, and Acrose does a phenomenal job getting off the hourglass, driving a 108.1. Does have the match record, so doesn't worry too much in that sense, but there is always that risk of Broly taking away that singular point from Acrose, putting him on 9 points instead of 10, which could mean everything heading into the final tally of Division number 2. Again, just one more match remaining. There's not a lot of points left on the table to pick up overall. So every single one of these will matter as much as possible. Broly, at this point, I think is just in survival mode. He knows that regardless of what he does right now, he just needs to drive first places. That's all that is possible. There is no more I can afford, dropping out a little bit. This mistake perhaps hits me a bit harder, but hey, I can bounce back. No, it is all or nothing. It's just a matter of first places, and it's only Acrose who has that buffer, though. This round, so far, is going into Broly's favor. He's looking like he has great pace, setting down a 53.2 past the checkpoint, but a mistake on his end will spiral him down into second, and Acrose immediately strikes back. Beautifully done by him, and will most definitely put Broly into last chance with that.
Yeah, those first places are so important for Broly. It's do or die. This getting second place in this match could mean that he is not going to get promoted to Div 1. Does Acrose make a mistake in the hourglass? He doesn't. But that was a lot closer than it probably needed to be. Only 200s between our 2 players. That was an excellent time that Broly just drove, considering the mistake that he made. He currently sits 7 points off of Acrose in the standings as he heads into last chance, and he'll know that in the last playday Acrose still has to face Ixaway, whereas Broly has a bit of an easier match. So beating Acrose in this one could be so important. But he's going to have to win at least 3 rounds in a row to make that happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it could even be bigger than that. I don't think he needs to think about driving against Acrose in the current round. I think he needs to very much maximize the profit, the result of this match in general, is to pick up these match records. Acrose is out of it, so he doesn't have to worry about the monkey on his back, hounding him down, keeping him honest. Instead, all he needs to focus on now is think as if this is time attack, right? You're just driving, you're just setting your times. He needs to pick up a match record to just pick up another point. Acrose is not going to come in between right now. There is still one more round remaining on this track in general. I'm very curious to see if, with Acrose out of the picture for this round, if Broly is able to keep his composure and perhaps beat that 107.9. He's the pace 104.5 on there. He is very close to it. He goes for it and he gets a 107.7. Snatches away the match record from Acrose, picking up a point of his own. And Acrose does have next round to perhaps make it, still his, but a 107.7 is going to be a tough one to beat.
That's impressive to be able to keep your composure as we see those match records on your right. Broly taking one of them. That's so important for him. He takes one off Acrose, takes one for himself. Thanks to eCircuit Mania for providing us with that overlay. And and now Acrose is down to 12 points. That's 2 rounds off of being in last chance. And as we stay on Galifeu, it looks like Broly is maybe the more confident, despite having a slight release in the start there. He's going to find himself a car length behind Acrose, but he has had a very good pace across the second half of this map, but that clip might be all she wrote for Broly. He's taken the match record, but he might not be taking first place in this match. Acrose looks comfortable out in front. I think that was another mistake from Broly again. You know, if there's not a big mistake from Acrose up here, it's going to be a GG.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot more left in the tank for Broly if a mistake does not happen. I mean, all he can do right now is hope and pray that does occur. But Acrose doesn't have to risk. He has a full second ahead of Broly. That is all the time he needs to secure his victory, to pick up his first place. Unfortunately, not picking up the 10 points that he possibly could have gained due to Broly's amazing time in the previous round. But it will be Acrose picking up the round, map, and match win with that. 9 points going his way, ending his day 2 with a beautiful time. Look at that. I am none of these faces, but hey, you know, I'll do a dub. All right, so Twiggy, if you could do the talking while there you go. Just keep that up. What a phenomenal race we've seen just now. A spectacular performance from all players involved. Unfortunately, Javzo being the one, breaking the curse, or perhaps the streak that we've had with everybody being able to make its way through all 4 maps. Especially hurting me as a Dutchman, seeing the only Dutchman not doing well. But regardless, we had a great match. We had a great fight, and it is Acrose who comes out on top, though Broly and Limpan definitely gave him a run for his money.
Yeah, and Acrose is going to solidify his spot as the favorite to get promoted to Division 1 alongside Tween, as he currently sits 9 points ahead of third place, which is Broly, who finished second in that one as well. But we'll see what our panelists have to say about it.
This time around, it's actually our voices. No, Twiggy is dubbing me as well now, apparently, is what's going on. That might be a little bit confusing. An exciting match. Got pretty close at the end there. I mean, look, ultimately, Limpan going out in third was relatively early on, so it was very much a two-way battle towards the end there. But Broly managed to strike right at the end, Melu, managing to take away that match record on the final map just at the end. Could be relevant, and I mean, is relevant to Acrose, who is kind of in a race for top 2 at the moment.
He proved that he got the pace to win the match at the end, even if it was his last chance. So he got the pace, not the Regius. So it was close at the end, to be honest, between Acrose and Broly. So good match against 1v1 match, to be honest. But
yeah, I did say, Twiggy, that maybe Acrose was in the race he's in the race for the top 2. I was going to maybe hype it up and say if anyone can get after Tween, maybe Acrose can. I have just noticed that Tween in the last round did manage to pull off what we decided off stream to call a golden match. The 8 points plus 4 match record points as well for a full 12. So Tween is now on 46 points, and Acrose in second place is on 38. It's looking rough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not happening. It's not.
Yeah.
I think mathematically, unless Tween gets pretty much last place, I don't think
Tween
it's possible.
Needs to get last place, no match records, and Acrose would need to pick up first place and 3 match records.
Yep. So there you go. I don't think that's happening. Either way, it does make that fight for second that much more exciting, and I think obviously Acrose is set up very well for that one. It was an incredibly important match, and not buckling under the pressure when it got that close was very, very clutch.
Yeah, and I do want to then maybe take a little bit more of a look down the table. But we don't have time for that because we are joined by Acrose for an interview after winning that match, after probably, we think at least, and we've not really done the maths because we're not capable of it, I'm afraid, Acrose, but you're looking good for second place in Div 2 right now.
Hello, thanks for this. I can't believe it. What a great day, dude. That was so good. Oh, I haven't seen the points, but it must be up there now, like probably behind Tween. So
yeah,
I'm very happy with that.
You are on 38 points. There is one match, I believe, left to be finished at the moment, but you're looking solidly in second place. Closest behind you while waiting on one match to finish is Broly and Limpan, both on 29 points. So looking good. Tween's on 46, but just ignore that, okay? Just don't worry. Just don't think about it.
He's a machine. That's what.
Absolutely.
So, in terms of what happened there, from Broly, do you think that was a good choice there? Did the pick and bans kind of surprise you at all? Did you expect that from Broly? And do you think that did contribute to how close that final 2 was?
I knew he was going to ban Meltdown because he literally goes into every single Twitch chat and he's like, I'm going to ban Meltdown. But it didn't mean anything because I still had to practice Meltdown to beat Evon.
Yeah.
So I didn't really let anything get to me. I just practiced all the maps like normally. And the pick on Galafu was kind of I didn't really have anything better. So Meltdown got banned, which is one of my best maps. And then Limpan picked Miata, which was my pick. So I was like, what am I meant to do now? I'm really bad at Purse, and I don't even remember what the other map is anymore. Ruby. And Broly was like world record holder, so why would I pick that? So I just picked Galafu. It worked out well.
We do just have some interesting news that's come in. I'm sure Melio has a question as well. But the news is that Evon has managed to win a match, pick up 2 match records, and letting Broly snipe that one away from you at the end of the match there, Acrose. It's cost you a little bit because you are now tied with Evon for second place in the division.
Tied with Evon?
Yeah,
that's interesting because I did beat him, but if he's risking, then it could get a bit close at the end.
It does come down not to the head-to-head immediately. It's in the rule book. I cannot remember the exact tiebreaker. It's something to do with these numbers over on the side of your screen now.
We'll also point out that Evon is against Tween.
Next week, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
so
a fair point.
Either way, you basically just got to hope that Tween wins again, which
feels like it's not bet.
Yeah, you're in a good position now for winning.
Yeah.
Did you expect that to be in the top of the Div 2 when you come into and you see all the players? You seems like I will be on the top 2 for Div 1 or not?
I feel like I knew I had the potential to get it, but I really wasn't sure if I'd be able to beat Evon and beat Broly, beat XOI. I really didn't expect if I was going to do that.
Yeah.
So I put in the extra practice and it's paid off. So.
Yeah, it definitely has. Very much in that race for second place. Looking forward to the final week then next Saturday. You are going to have a relatively tough match, as so many of these are. XOI, Josh, and Max Track. How are you feeling about that one and your chances of clinching the second place?
Okay, I haven't seen the table, but I know that XOI is he around the second place sort of spot for the points?
He's fourth, just behind you.
Yeah, 7 points behind you at the moment.
7 points. I don't think then it's going to be a match about beating XOI. I think it's going to be about getting enough points that I stay ahead of Evon.
Yeah,
So
seems reasonable.
I'm not gonna let anything like change my mind. I'm just gonna like practice normally and just play my best game, and it should be good enough.
That seems fair enough to me, Acrose. We've run out of time, and so I'm going to have to unceremoniously say goodbye, dump you off stream, and throw us to a break. Don't go anywhere. We will be back after this break with Division 1 action from the Beacon World League.